Great.
So we're waiting on, is Mr. Kilcoyne on yet? Neither Mr. Kilcoyne nor Mr. Salter's on.
Okay.
Hello, John Salter.
There's Mr. Salter. We're waiting on Mr. Kilcoyne.
Is everybody on?
I think we're missing Mr. Kilcoyne. It is now 5:30, Mr. Salter.
All right, I'm going to call the meeting to order at this time and ask Mr. David, are you going to do the roll call for us today?
Mr. Salter, I can. I talked to Mr. Richmond. He said the chair could do that.
Okay, that's fine. Cheryl called me and said she'd talk to you. Okay, Mr. Kilcoyne?
I'm here.
Mr. Cheatwood?
Here.
Mr. Page?
Here.
Ms. Hoover?
Here.
Mr. Salter, I'm here. You doing the invocation for us, Mrs. Hoover?
Corey,
Heavenly Father, we come to you this hour, dear Lord, giving you thanks for your many, many blessings that you showered upon our lives. And Heavenly Father, I ask that you just look down on us right now, dear Lord, and ask that you just touch our hearts, that we will make the right decision for this community in which you elected us for. We ask all these things in Jesus' name. Amen and amen.
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 Mr. Cheatwood, you do the pledge for us today?
Yes, sir. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic in which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Invited guests and special presentations, any? None. And number 6, reports of department head, public works, interim director, Director, Mr. Johnny Solar. Do you have anything, Johnny?
Mr. John, I just want to say that we've had a lot of rain and some severe storms last month. We had a few breakdowns, but we did get a pretty good bit of work done. We're still fighting some breakdowns right now, but those should be a thing of the past very soon.
Thank you, sir. Anything else?
No, sir. That's all.
OCS Executive Director, Mrs. Sharon Harris.
John, before you move forward, I do have a question for Mr. Solar.
Oh, okay. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
First of all, John, I want to tell you thank you for your effort and what you were trying to do for the parish. And the second thing is I want to know, when are we still looking for a material that will be feasible for the roads? Because I just feel right now, and if I said it before, it sounds like a broke record probably, that it's just not working. It's passable for everybody. We appreciate what you do, but we're just needing to find some type of material that will stay on our roads.
Well, I can get more of this now. I can get more of this SB2 green rock mixture that sets down harder and stays. I'm going to try to get away from this ash material that seems to corduroy up so bad and pothole. But I believe once I get our loader back and we start doing this SB2 green rock mixture, I believe it will be a lot better and you will see a lot better results out of it, Ms. Hoover.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that all, Ms. Hoover?
Yes, that's all. And John, let me say this, and I think as a council, if we know of other materials or could find out if there are other materials that we could use that we can have for the roads because, you know, all of us can attest, especially those of us that live in the rural area, know that it is not working. And what we are doing is just actually putting a match to our money because it's not working.
All right, Ms. Hoover, thank you.
Hmm.
OCS Executive Director, Ms. Sharon Harris.
Okay, you all received my report. Do you all have any questions or any concerns at this time?
Anybody have any questions, Ms. Harris?
No.
Thank you, Ms. Harris.
No.
You're welcome.
Parish Treasurer, Ms. Julie Lockhart.
Good evening. I sent out all my reports. If anyone has any question at this time, I'd be happy to take them.
Mrs. Hoover did you have a question, Mrs. Hoover?
I did. I want to know if you can explain to us why we are keep amending the agendas, and I know that we're probably going to be coming up for that, and maybe you can, you know, tell us when we get to that agenda item why we are doing it, just to let us know.
Ms. Hoover, I included in the package of an explanation, but of the budget, proposed budget amendments. But I'll be happy to explain and take any questions at that time.
Okay. Thank you so kindly, Miss Julie.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Ms. Julie. Interim Director of Planning and Zoning, Mr. David Keys, Jr.
I sent out my report this week. We took in a little over 11,700 in permit fees. That's what the parish netted. We had a pretty good month in April.
Okay. Anybody have any questions for Mr. David?
I do. David, how is this with the virus that is going around? How is that going to affect, how you think it's going to affect us maybe in the long run with our sales tax and all of that? How you think we'll be looking?
Well, Ms. Hoover, as just about everybody would probably answer that question, it's tough to tell right now, but I can tell you that in April and May, and we're still only just a little over halfway through May, our permitting in terms of manufactured homes and new construction has been above average. And so if those homes continue to get put out in the parish and built and they're sold, it should be pretty good for the parish sales tax or property tax wise.
Okay.
Is that all you had, Ms. Hoover?
That's it.
I'm having trouble hearing everybody, but just bear with me, please. Okay, number 7, the parish president, Mr. John Richmond.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I've got a few items I'd like to go through. Of course, first and foremost on all our minds recently has been the COVID-19. It's important, I think, for everyone to realize that your parish government has continued to operate. The courthouse is operating under some strict social distancing guidelines that the state has given out. That includes split shifts and distancing the working from each other. As we enter into phase 1 this week, all the parish government agencies will meet or exceed all these guidelines for these phased openings of businesses. Masks are required if you're coming to the courthouse. Masks are required if you come. If you come and you don't have a mask, we will provide one for you. And most of that traffic will be going into the courtroom, and it will be absolutely enforced there. The latest numbers for Natchitoches Parish are approximately 103 confirmed COVID-19 cases with 12 deaths. We are indeed saddened by the deaths of any of our residents and constituents, but we are somewhat of a little bit of an oasis in the middle of the desert here, suffering much less than many of the other parishes that are not far away from us. Parish government here has led the effort, working with the state and local law enforcement, Natchez Regional Medical Center, the school board, NSU, and all the emergency services. In the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic, we were geared up, just getting ready for whatever could happen. And now that as the caseload is leveled out and the curve is flattened, our focus has moved to ensuring the continuance of all the community services. Ms. Harris was part of that as she helped us coordinate with the school board. And at last count, the school board had served over 65,000 meals working with the parish government to get that done for our school-age children. So I commend all those involved in that. With your permission, I'll go through the rest of the report in an abbreviated fashion. There are a couple of things that need to be noted for the public.
Mr. Richmond,
Subdivision Street Phase 2, as we discussed last month.
Mr. Richmond,
With that project.
Mr. Richmond,
They've just been slowed up a little bit. With
Mr. Richmond,
Baton Rouge.
Mr. Richmond,
I can hear, yes.
Can you hear me?
Ms. Hoover, I'm sorry, I could not hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. My question, you said earlier on the COVID-19, you said providing masks. Who are you providing masks?
I'm sorry. Ms. Hoover, I'm sorry. I was having trouble hearing you. My speakerphone has dropped out, and so I'm going to do my best to go off of just my phone on speakerphone. Can you repeat your question? I'm sorry.
Yes, you said that you were providing masks for those persons who come into the courthouse. Because you have to have a mask when you come in. Is that correct? Or did I misunderstand?
No, you did not misunderstand. You're required. All the courthouse agencies got together and decided that they would feel better if masks were a requirement to come into the courthouse. If you do come to the courthouse and if you don't have a mask, we strongly encourage you to bring your own, but a mask will be provided to you if you have business at the courthouse and do not have a mask.
And the reason for my making sure that I understood exactly what you said, I entered the courthouse today. I always prepared for what needs to be done, but there was a couple with a baby that was at the courthouse door, and they was told, as you said, if you don't have a mask, you could not enter the courtroom. So they had to go back outside, and they were standing outside of the door. But thanks be to God, I had 2 masks in the vehicle, and I was able to provide that for them. I spoke to the officer at the door, and he said, we have the strict orders that they have to have the mask, and they didn't have a mask, so they had to go out. So that's why I asked the question, who was providing those masks for those persons who come in that does not have a mask?
We are providing them as the parish, and we have a small stockpile of those here, a couple of thousand, and we will be working with people. We're strongly encouraging people to do it. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. I will make sure the sheriff understands that we have masks available, disposable masks for people to use.
Thank you so kindly.
Thank you. Appreciate you bringing that to my attention. All right, let's go to Blanchard Road improvements. This is not something that's going to be fun for me to report, but as a matter of transparency, the parish needs to know this. I guess technically the Blanchard Road improvements are still on the capital outlay list. However, they have not been funded, and it is not expected to be funded this year. So those funds and that project, as far as the state is concerned, is still on hold, and we will look for other funding options for that. Also, the remainder of the capital outlay budgets are being delayed by the House as they work through their legislation because they've been away from their job for a month or two. So we're going to stay on that, but I wanted you to know about Blanchard Road. Even though it's not good news, bad news does not get better with time, so I wanted to bring it to you. Let's go on to the Payne Subdivision sewer improvements. We'll be discussing later in the meeting, Mr. Tony Tillman, who is an attorney, whose services will be discussed later, and with council approval, we'll be able to move forward with that transaction. And then, as you may or may not know, at the solid waste area out at the landfill, we've taken possession of a couple of the Head Start buildings, and the plans are being sent to the state fire marshal for those to be renovated at a very low cost and turned into a new scale house so that we can get rid of the old dilapidated scale house we have out there. And then Trudeau Street building, the old highway department, those repairs have begun so that we can move the Office of Community Services over there. Currently, right now, there's a lot. The roof has been fixed. We're getting ready to redo some flooring, repair some flooring, and get ready to install some air conditioning over there. Ms. Hoover, in partial answer to your question about the budget amendments, several budget amendments will be presented in this evening's meeting. Each amendment is solely to provide more transparency into the funding of the parish government and will make absolutely no change in the dollars spent by the parish. Each amendment will just provide greater granularity and detail of the planned costs that are available to be spent. And in some cases, these amendments have been mandated for years, and I'm not sure why they were not implemented, but Julie and her team have caught that, and they are going to get us into compliance. And Julie will tell you more about that. But I did want you to know this will not cost one extra dime.
And you said Julie caught it, so I'm trying to, I guess when we get to that, we'll see what did she catch. And I always like to ask the treasurer to give the report on the money, since that's her forte. I like to follow protocol. Okay.
Sure. I was part of those decisions too. That's why I had that item in my report.
She's the treasurer, so she's the one with the money.
It's the end of my report, Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead, Mr. That's it?
That's it.
Okay, thank you, Mr. President. Anybody have any questions now for Mr. Richmond? Okay, number 8, adopt the minutes of the regular meeting of the United Parish Council held Monday, April 20th, 2020, and special meeting held Thursday, April 23rd, 2020.
I'll offer.
Have offered by Mrs. Hoover.
Second.
Have a second by Mr. Cheekwood. Okay, Mr. Kilcoyne.
Yes.
Mr. Cheekwood.
Yes.
Mr. Page.
Yes.
Mrs. Hoover.
Yes.
Mr. Salter, yes. I hope somebody's taking this. We'll get it later. Number 9, appointment to the boards and commissioners. Consider adopting a resolution confirming the appointment to the following boards, commissions. Okay, A, council to approve appointment of Mr. William Bill Dickens to replace Vicki Parish on the Waterworks District number 1 board. I'll entertain an offer.
I'll offer.
Offered by who?
Mr. Kilcoyne.
Mr. Kilcoyne, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
I got my offer.
Second.
Mr. Cheekwood. Mr. Kilcoyne.
Yes.
Mr. Cheekwood.
Yes.
Mr. Page.
Yes.
Mrs. Hoover.
Yes.
John Salter, yes. That passed. Unanimous. Okay, number 10, first introduction of proposed ordinances. Council to introduce ordinance number 008 2020 to remove 4.56 acre recreational site located on Black Lake north by 2. I can't read this.
Would you like for me to read, Mr. Chairman?
Give me the N, 2N. Is it 2N what?
North 2 northeast by 4 of section 9.
Okay, section 9, township 11 north and range line 7 west at the end of Cloud Crossing Road, which is the last 1,130 feet of Cloud Crossing Road from the parish road system. Okay, I don't know what the 4.56 acres are, and I don't know anything about a recreation site. Does anybody have any information on that?
Mr. Chairman, if I could speak a little bit about it, I can share you what I know about it.
Go ahead, Mr. Cheatwood.
From what I went out and investigated this because it's at the end of my road, and what the thing that I talked to the lady that wanted this done, Miss Becky Smith, and the thing that we found out.
I lost Mr. Cheatwood. Anybody?
Yeah, I'm still here.
He cut out.
May have accident.
Restoration was.
Richmond, is that the parish recreational land up there?
No, sir. I can pull some information if you'd like me to.
Okay. Well, I mean, if Marty's back, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm back. What I found out was the only thing that's back there is an old condemned boat launch, and it's not been kept up. In fact, it owns to the land owners. It's not a public one like everybody thought for years back here. And actually, the loop, from what Mr. John Fishman told me earlier today, that's not even part of our road system anyway. The grader just put that in there so he'll have an option to turn around and head back out that road. And so there's nothing, no utilities down there. There's no camps down there past that point. It's just land that she's leased it up to keep unwanted guests from coming down there, hanging out and partying.
Okay. All right. So what we're going
So the parish has nothing to do with that road at all?
Just only 1,130 feet is the only thing to do with our road.
We're going to have to amend this this motion, or however y'all want to split it up, or strike this part off, and just to remove 1,130 feet of Cloud Crossing Road from the parish road system. Can I get a motion to amend?
Is that what we're, so to clarify this, if we vote to change it to remove the last 1,130 feet, well, Cloud Crossing Road is part of the road system, is it not? Out to a highway or something?
Well, it's the very end of about, 4 miles of road down there, Marty?
Yes.
And this 4.56 acres, I've talked to 2 or 3 of y'all about it. I didn't know what that was, and we just need to take that off here. I don't know how it got on there or why it's there, but all we're interested in is taking 1,130 feet out of the off the end of the road.
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Is that where the gate or the fencing is located?
Yeah,
yes.
The road has already been gated off. It has signs on it, posted signs with phone numbers and people to contact. And that was going to be something else we need to talk about before we move on. And we should have been made aware of this before all this come up. But since we've got to discuss it now, well, anytime there's a gate or a cattle gap on the parish road, well, it has to be removed if it's in the parish system. And anytime a gate, go ahead.
Okay, well, since tonight is just introducing this,
That's right.
we can, or we could not introduce it and then have it
Well,
amended.
in the past, the district attorney would send the person the letter to remove whoever put the gate there. To basically, they would have to take it down. We should not have to go out there and take it down. But if we had to, we will. You know, that type of thing. But the district attorney normally will send a letter out, a certified letter, if that's what needed to be done. You know, and they would have them remove the gate. That's what has happened in the past.
Well, do we want to take this until we get all this cleared up?
Mr. Chairman, may I give you just a little bit of information on this?
Yeah, go ahead.
But it's only for introduction tonight, so it's not a whole lot we can really talk about because it's for introduction. And what we can go ahead.
I had Mr. Rickman had the floor.
Excuse me, I apologize. I apologize to the chairman as well as Mr. Richmond.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I went out there this weekend and looked at this because I was a little bit in the dark on it also. And I won't try to sway anyone's opinion whether to vote or not vote for this or to introduce it or not. But this gate is up. And we all know what the parish ordinance says about gates. It's an understandable mistake by the person leasing the land. This road cloud crossing dead ends into their land, which pretty much goes out into a point in Black Lake. And they own all the land on the left, all the land, well, they're leasing all the land on the left, all the land on the right, and all the land at the end of it. And so certainly there should not be a gate there. But I think that what they were thinking was that since they leased it, they could put a gate up. Obviously, we can deal with that. But I think the thing that we should realize here is that cloud crossing literally ends on this property. If you remember, we had a situation like this last year with Benji Colvin Road, which was a short road about a quarter of a mile that Benji owned all the land on the left and right and at the end. It's a similar situation, and that's all I wanted to make people aware of.
Well, I wasn't there last year. I didn't know about Benji Colvin, but still, you saying these people leased? I thought they owned it. If they're not the actual owners, we need to hear from the actual owners.
Right.
I went to the assessor's office today and pulled up who the owners of all the parcels are out there past that point, and they are, it is a trust. It's a combination of numerous people who have minority interest in that property, but it's all controlled by a trust, and she has leased it from the trust.
Well, have we heard from the trust?
I have not. I just found this out this morning.
Yeah, well, we need to table this.
I make a motion to remove the introduction of the ordinance number 008-2020.
Well, I'll second that.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to remove this for the time being or indefinite, however you want to put it.
Mr. Southern.
Yes.
This is Carolyn Roy. It's hard to understand what's going on. Is the fence on parish property?
Yes, ma'am. It's a gate. It's 2 posts and a gate. They was put on parish right of way, which is, I don't know if it's a 30 or 40 or 60, but from the looks of the picture that I got, it was probably a 12-foot gate. So everything that's been put up was on parish property.
Okay, and what is Ms. Hoover's motion?
She wants to take this from the agenda until we can get some clarification on who actually owns the land and get this 4.56 acres off of this. This has nothing to do with us.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I have an offer from Mrs. Hoover.
And I second it.
And a second from Mr. Kilcoyne. Okay, Mr. Kilcoyne.
Yes.
Mr. Cheatwood.
Yes.
Mr. Page,
Yes.
Mrs. Hoover,
Yes.
Mr. Salter, yes. B, council to introduce ordinance number 009-2020 for budget amendment for government building fund, criminal jury compensation fund, law enforcement officer criminal witness fund, disaster recovery fund, and the courthouse security capital outlay fund. Mrs. Lockhart, do you want to explain anything, or anybody got any questions for her on this?
Mr. Chairman, if it would be okay, I'll take them one by one and kind of walk through them.
Okay.
Okay. The first one is Government Buildings Fund. The biggest amendment to that fund is to move the courthouse security capital outlay expenses, revenues to its own capital outlay fund. Not sure why it was commingled in the government buildings funds, but it really shouldn't have been. So to clean up everything and to make it more streamlined, more transparent, I would like to move it into its own capital outlay fund and have everything broken out there. So it would not be commingled with any other repairs or anything that we have for the government buildings fund. That's the biggest part.
Ms. Judy, are you saying because we need to move it simply because it's in the wrong place? Is that what you're doing with all of this? Trying to straighten up something that has been not where it should have been in the past?
Yes, ma'am. On that, yes, ma'am. And so the outgo is from the government building, so that's the amendment there for that fund, and the corresponding where we recorded again is in the capital outlay. I mean the courthouse security capital outlay fund. So it's just moving everything to one place so it's cleaned up and it's where it should be.
Okay, so it hasn't been in the past. Okay, I got you. It hasn't been in the past, so in other words, what we're doing, we're just cleaning up what has been messed up. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Anyone have any other questions about those two funds? Yes, sir?
Okay, now you're saying you're moving... Okay, you're saying that the money that you moving from capital outlay to get from government building, get that?
Yes, from government buildings.
Okay,
yes.
Go ahead.
From government buildings, the money that was budgeted for the courthouse security program or project will now all be in its own fund. It will no longer be commingled in the government buildings fund.
Good. Okay. Now, what project are you actually talking about? You're talking about the handicap ramp or something up front?
No, the handicap ramp is completed, and that is not this. This is the large scale, the new courtrooms, the where we're going to have its own elevator for the prisoners, that security program, or project, I'm sorry.
Okay. Now, is it a particular reason why you're saying that you're moving it? Because government building funds do take care of the government buildings, as far as elevator, as far as that type of thing. Is it a particular reason why you're saying that?
Yes, sir. The budget that was approved is an operating budget. So that means everything in that budget should be expended in this budget year. When we're looking at a capital outlay program that goes over 2 or 3 years, we should put it in its own fund so it stays there, because what happens if you know it gets jumbled up if you don't have it separated.
I understand what you're saying. Okay, you're saying an ongoing project. Okay, no problem.
Any other questions about those two budget amendments? You're welcome. Thank you.
And it's only for introduction, so if there's any other concerns that you'll have the opportunity between now and next month, correct?
Yes, ma'am. And as I said in my reports, I'd be happy to walk anyone through it.
Thank you, Ms. Julie.
You're welcome. The next budget amendment is for the Disaster Recovery Fund, which that is the money that we're getting from FEMA, CARES Act, state to help offset these COVID-19 expenses such as masks and sneeze shields and things of that. So what I am proposing is that everything that comes in we will spend. So we did receive on the first disbursement $67,000. So that is that revenue, and it's to add that we will spend that money in this year. Okay.
Okay.
The last one is criminal jury compensation and law enforcement criminal witness compensation has been in the past, for some reason, one fund. As I'm learning and trying to go through all these different funds, met with the DA, and we discovered that we have direction from the court that they should be two separate funds, that they should not be commingled. So that is all I'm doing is following, and I included those letters in your package. There was one from 2008 and one from 2004 that directed the parish to separate those into two separate funds.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So, if there's any other questions, I'd be happy.
I'm pleased.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hart. I'll entertain a motion.
I make the motion. Okay, go ahead, Chris. Go ahead. Go ahead, Chris. I'm sorry.
I didn't say anything.
Oh, I thought
I'll make a motion. If you need a motion, I'll make a motion.
And I'll second.
By Mr. Page and second by Mrs. Hoover. Mr. Kilcoyne?
Yes.
Mr. Cheatwood?
Yes.
Mr. Page?
Yes.
Mrs. Hoover?
Yes.
Mr. Salter? Yes. Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Public hearings. I need a motion to go into a public hearing.
I'll offer.
Second. Coyne, second by Mr. Cheatwood to go into public hearing. We are now, would say vote, Mr. Kilcoyne?
Yes.
Mr. Cheatwood?
Yes.
Mr. Page?
Yes.
Mrs. Hoover?
Yes.
Mr. Salter, yes. We're in public hearing. Anybody comment, questions, any information? Council to adopt ordinance number 06-2020 to affect zoning change for 1A Industry Agriculture District to B1 Business District for the purpose of establishing a medical clinic on a 2.62 acre tract of land parcel 006-300-8500 situated in section 9, township 8 north, range line 9 west, along Highway 6 in Roebelin, Louisiana, as shown on the survey attached hereunto, approved by the Parish Planning Commission on April the 6th, 2020. Do I have any comment relative to this or questions?
I think since we had public hearing, it just need to be explained, Mr. Salter, if it would. Does Mr. Richmond or somebody want to explain exactly what it is to the public?
With the chairman's permission, I'll be glad to.
Go ahead, Mr. Richmond.
Yes, this is about little over 2.5 acres in Roebelin that Natchitoches Regional Medical Center is looking to put a rural medical clinic in. This is part of their plan to bring their services closer to the people of the rural part of the parish. And this will be a great addition to the town of Roebeling. As it's been mentioned already, there's been approval by the Planning Commission. And so this is a formality on our side to make this happen. I would encourage you to vote for it, but of course, that's just my feelings. I think it'll be a good thing for Roebeling.
Mr. Page, you got that clear?
Yeah. I mean, I'm fine. I just wanted to be clear to the.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right there on the right when you go into town before you get to the first bank building. It's right up on that hill there on the right. It's going to be a good location. It's going to be an addition, a plus for the parish, Roebeling, everybody in that west side of the parish.
Okay.
Can I make a motion that we come out of public hearing?
If no more comments, you got a motion on the floor?
Yes.
Okay, Mrs. Hoover has offered a motion. Second by who?
Mr. Kilcoyne.
Mr. Kilcoyne. Mr. Kilcoyne?
Yes.
Mr. Cheatwood?
Yes.
Mr. Page?
Yes.
Mrs. Hoover?
Yes.
Mr. Salter, yes. We're out of the public hearing. Now we need to vote action on proposed ordinance, which is council to adopt ordinance 006-2020 to affect the zoning change from 1A Industry Agriculture District to B1 Business District for the purpose of establishing a medical clinic on 2.62 acre tract of land, partial 006-3008500, situated in Section 9, Township 8 North, and Range Line 9 West along Highway 6 in Roebeling, is shown on the survey attached here and to, approved by the Parish Planning Commission on April 6, 2020. Vote Mr. Kilcoyne.
Excuse me?
We're voting. You voting on
yes.
the proposed ordinance?
I didn't hear a motion for us to do it, but I'm sorry if I missed that.
I thought we had got a motion. I'm sorry. Do I have a motion to entertain a motion?
I motion. I motion.
By Mrs. Hoover.
Second.
Second by Mr. Kilcoyne. Okay, Mr. Kilcoyne.
Yes.
Mr. Cheatwood.
Yes.
Mr. Page.
Abstain, Ms. Sutter.
Okay, Mrs. Hoover.
Yes.
Mr. Salter, yes. So that was passed. Okay, resolution. A is council to adopt resolution 031-2020 to change the polling place for the July 11th presidential preference primary and municipal election for the August 15th, 2020. If we have City of Natchez selection runoffs, this move is from council on this. This move is from the Council on Aging building because statewide senior citizen centers cannot be used as polling places during the COVID-19 emergency. The Council on Aging building address at 1016 Kaiser Avenue, and the new address will be Masonic Lodge, 110 Masonic Drive.
I'll make an offer.
Offered by Mr. Kilcoyne and second by Mrs. Hoover. Mr. Kilcoyne?
Yes.
Mr. Cheatwood?
Yes.
Mr. Page?
Yes.
Mrs. Hoover? Salter, yes. B, council to adopt resolution 033-2020 in accordance with the requirements of the Community Water Enrichment Fund program to support and cordially request grant authorization to execute and submit an application for the 2019-2020 Community Water Enrichment Fund program for the Sandy Point 480 water system in the amount of $300,000.
I'll offer.
Second.
I'll second.
Cheatwood,
Yes.
and seconded by who?
Page.
Page.
Yes.
Does everybody understand what's going on here? This is not going to cost the parish of Natchez anything. This is a grant.
Right, and all we're doing is authorizing them to apply for a grant. So,
Right. Okay. Mr. Kilcoyne?
yes,
Mr. Cheatwood?
Yes.
Mr. Page?
Yes.
Mrs. Hoover?
Yes.
Mr. Salter? Yes. Number 11 is other agenda items. A, council to consider authorizing the parish president to sign and execute an online subscription agreement with Dude Solutions Incorporated, which will allow Department of Public Work employees and members of the general public to have an online tool that tracks completed and ongoing projects performed by the Department of Public Work.
Can I have them speak about that, Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir. Go ahead, Mr. Cheatwood.
Thank you, sir. I was talking to different apartment heads throughout our system, and I was looking into some things and seeing what the benefits and the pros and cons are on this software. And the people that I've contacted and talked to throughout the day and last week, I asked every one of them, how would this improve your quality of life as doing your job with the parish? And everyone was telling me that it would be a greatly improvement for them to have that kind of a tool for their resources, for the jobs that they do. And then I was looking into the software of it having a GP tracking system. And I was also told our graders have that ability on them, that we could install that on there, which is already there. So the software would comply with that software and talk to those graders and know what graders are, what they're doing and when they're doing and when they're moving. And then I was thinking about if we had a disaster hit, I was thinking about Miss Joe out there doing double work. She's actually doing handwritten phone calls that come through her office, and she's getting anywhere from 1 to 50 plus a day. She's having to write them on a notebook, translated into Excel, which is giving her double work. And then I got to thinking about if we have a tragedy or have to find some FEMA documents, that she's got to go to a school building, dig out tons of boxes to find the literature and the information to get back to FEMA or whoever. And I think it's just a lot of hard work that's put on our people that would bring some relief to them if we would vote this in to allow them to make it easier for them to do their job and be more productive. Because if we're more productive, we'll be more cost efficient. And I speak that by experience because I previously went through some counters like this on my previous job, and I know how hard it is to run a mom and pop business on pen and paper when you can have a software that at a stroke of a key or a click of a mouse can get all that ready information right there at your fingertips. And I was thinking about Miss Joe again. She does an excellent job as far as I'm concerned out there, that when she goes out on vacation or gets sick, that compounds work for her to have to come back and pick up on. And then for Miss Hart and for HR, it's got a lot of information in this software that I don't think we really considered it at the beginning when we first voted on this, of the improvement that it would bring to the parish as a whole.
Okay.
And I just thought maybe I'd put that out there to let all the council people to consider that before we make our vote. And if anybody else has got any input, I appreciate it right now if they'd have any comments.
I'd like to hear from, I'm sorry, this is Mr. Kilcoyne. I'd like to hear from Mr. Richmond. We were talking about test driving this. So could I ask the parish president to...
Sure, go ahead.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Kilcoyne. Permission to speak, Mr. Chairman.
Sir, go ahead.
Yes, David Keys and I, since our last meeting and since we discussed this previously in a council meeting, we went back and we looked at other software packages and continued to look for better and lower cost solutions. And to be quite honest, this was what we kept coming back to. And so we contacted the writers of the software and the owners of the company, and they agreed pretty much to let us test drive this. We don't sign up for a commitment right now at all. In fact, they've agreed to let us go through the rest of the year for about $4,500, which is down from that first year of it was going to be $10,000 and then $13,000, and now we're down to about $4,500. They really want to get this. They do a lot of work in a lot of towns that are our size, bigger and smaller. And so this is something that we can grow with and grow into. The cost is way down. It will be about $800 a month next year. That equals out to $10,000 for the year. But for the remainder of this year, it'll be less than $4,500 with them taking a greatly discounted rate for us to test drive it for the rest of the year.
Thank you, Mr.
If
Richmond.
there's no further questions, I'd like to make a motion to that.
Mr. Richmond. Mr. Richmond?
Yes, ma'am, Mr. Roy.
You broke up. How much will it be a month next year?
Who? Oh, okay.
It'll be approximately $800 a month.
Okay.
And that is money that we're not spending over and above. That's money that we're saving. We have done some things here internally to lower our IT costs greatly by $50,000 or $55,000 a year. And now we're going to be spending a little bit of that money on a piece of software that'll greatly enhance, not just for the parish employees, primarily this will be for the people in the parish who want to log on and they can actually enter a work order that they've got a problem with their road, and they can do it right there on their computer. They don't have to call Miss Joe. She doesn't have to input it manually into two systems, and they'll be always able to see where they are on the list.
Can you give me a short example of the savings? That's a lot of money in a year.
Sure.
You lowered the cost about $55,000 a year.
No. Wait, I didn't say it was going to cost $55,000.
No, I
said
thought you said you lowered the cost $55,000 a year.
We did. We no longer have IT.
I'm sorry.
We no longer have an IT person on staff.
Okay.
And not having that IT person with salary and benefits is actually more than that. And so what we've done is we've contracted out when we have IT needs. We're very thankful for the IT help we had in the past, but he was able to go to another position, and it served him well, and it served us well. He had got us to a point where we only needed periodic IT help and did not need it full time.
Thank you so much.
All right,
That's all.
And I'm just learning about the IT here. I am a council member and didn't even know that our IT person was no longer with us. Did the rest of the council members know?
Yeah,
that we no longer have an IT person?
Yes, ma'am. I know it. It actually works for my company.
Okay. Well, see, I was never told. Chris, were you told?
Yeah, I was talking to him, and he told me it was going to be the night when we voted, and we were. He told me that there was other money that could be used for that fund because the IT guy.
Kilcoyne, you were told too?
No, I found
I
out.
wasn't told. Mr. Kilcoyne, I'm sorry.
Miss Hoover, I was not informed. I found out through the grapevine.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I mean,
was not
just through quizzing, that's how I found out.
I don't know if there's a procedure we would want certainly to be kept in the loop, of course, if there's going to be personnel changes, especially if a position is being eliminated, which is fine because as the parish president, and that's his administration, he has the right to do that. But I was thinking it'd help us to keep us in the loop and let's not find out on the street. That's my only concern. That's all.
Mine as well.
Okay, here's what I got to say about it. That man, that IT, I don't know what the real word that goes in the personnel manual, but that is actually a position on the Niagara Parish government in the personnel manual.
Yeah.
Have you done away with a job position in the personnel manual, Mr. Richmond?
No, sir.
So we still have a place for an IT person in the personnel manual.
Yes, sir.
Well, wouldn't it have been the best thing for you to do to come to us and ask us if we wanted to take that out of the personnel manual since we have to approve all these things?
I'm not sure. I had a person resign from the staff. I looked at a way to fill it, and filling it on a full-time basis, part-time, was going to be expensive, and contract services, given our limited amount of need for that, was fairly cheap. I made an administrative decision on the administrative staff. If that was an error on my part, I'll ask forgiveness.
Well, I don't know if it was or not. I'm just asking you, and if that was a paid position and somebody quit, so you didn't even go out and ask for people to come in and put in applications for that position, you just found one person to do it?
No, I determined that we didn't need the position at all. It would have been, I felt, improper use of the taxpayer funds. I didn't want to spend that money. We didn't need it, and it hasn't been a missed position so far, and we can certainly always advertise when and if we do need it. That's why it's still in the personnel manual.
Question, Mr. Secretary.
Who is this asking to be recognized?
Hey, that's me. Chris Page asked the question.
Page, I'm sorry. I'm having trouble hearing y'all.
I know. Am I hearing that you say you hired somebody part-time in the position?
No, I did not hire someone part-time.
Okay.
No. Okay. What we're doing, when we have IT issues, we call a contract service provider who comes in, just like you'd call a plumber at your house or an electrician at your house if you need it. You don't keep them on retainer if you don't need it.
So are you planning to advertise that position to speak to other individuals, what you're saying or whatever? I mean, I don't know.
If there's ever the need, we certainly can do that. Once again, making the analogy to your house. If you're going to take on a major project at your house, you may want to hire a plumber to do that and have them there.
I understand that, Mr. Richard, but we're talking about what do the charter say basically that we need to adhere to. If the position is no longer required, it may need to be brought to the council's attention for us to vote on it if we're going to, just abandon the position like you said.
Well, we haven't abandoned it. We haven't abandoned it.
I'm just saying, if it's no longer needed, well, we'll discuss it another day. I guess I don't want to tie the meeting up with that, but it's
and I'm fine with that, Mr. Page. I certainly didn't mean to get crossways in this discussion with that. I'm fine with that. I have no problem with it, and I'll do whatever the council wants to do there.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it either. No, sir.
Yeah, so that means that the council's going to have to make a decision on whether we're going to continue to have it because it's required that we do have it. So then we know that now we need to decide when we're going to, when it's going to be advertised for that position because that position is required that we have it.
Is that, Miss Hoover, this is Mr. Kilcoyne, is that in the I mean, you said the position is required to be filled. We have to have an IT person. Is that? And I'm just asking.
In the person, I think in the personnel manual it requires that.
I'll look into that, Ms. Hoover. I'll be glad to, and I'll report out our findings. Okay.
Yes, and Mr. Richmond, if you would please be kind enough just to keep the council informed. You know, I keep saying that, you know, you promised me you was going to do that. Let us, you know, if there's something going on, let us know. Let us, you know, don't let us have to hear it from someone else. You know, I think we talk enough that if something like that would come up, that you would just let us know what is going on so that we can have a good president and council relationship.
I'll be glad to comply with that.
Thank you so kindly.
Okay.
I think I made a motion, Mr. Salter. There wasn't no more
And I
questions.
think I seconded it. I don't know. Somebody
We
did.
got a motion and a second on council to consider the president to sign and execute an online subscription agreement with New Solutions, right?
Yes.
Oh, no, I didn't second.
Okay, let's keep going. We're voting.
Okay, I'm sorry. Everybody's breaking up and talking over each other. We do have a motion and a second on this.
Yes, sir. I was calling roll to vote.
Okay. All right.
So, Mr. Kilcoyne,
Yes.
Mr. Cheekwood,
Yes.
Mr. Page,
Yes.
Mrs. Hoover,
No.
Mr. Salter, no. B, council to consider authorizing the parish president to enter into an agreement with Tony Tillman to provide services on the creation and execution of an agreement pertaining to the donation of the Payne Subdivision sewer system from the Total Environmental Solutions Incorporated.
I'll offer that, Mr. Salter. If
Offer
nobody
by
has any
Page.
questions.
I'll second.
I'll second.
Offered by Mr. Page and seconded by Mr. Kilcoyne. Mr. Kilcoyne, we're voting. Are you ready to vote?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Kilcoyne,
Yes.
Mr. Cheekwood,
Yes.
Mr. Page,
Yes.
Mrs. Hoover,
No.
Mr. Salter, no. Seek council to authorize parish president to negotiate new release on the dairy solid waste site. Okay. This is a manned bin site at Dairy, Louisiana. And I've always thought that this was donated, but evidently we've been paying rent on it like we do several more around the parish. And Mr. Richmond should have some information on this, or Mrs. Lockhart either.
Julie probably knows more about it than I do, but I'll give you what I know, that this is something that we had a lease that I believe the most recently signed lease was 2016, I think. We paid the rent on it for a couple of years, and then it didn't get paid. And the lease comes up for renewal this year, and they said, hey, we'd like to get paid for the years you didn't pay us. And so Julie did some digging. Julie, take it from there.
We haven't paid them. We do have a lease. I contacted, I believe it's Charlie Churchman. It is through Bayou Commit Lands. So I have reached out to them, asked them if we could renew this lease and make it official and the way it should be. And I'm just asking to be able to renegotiate that lease.
So, Ms. Judy, I have a question. Can I be recognized? Okay. So what are they saying that we owe them money from the time that they had their leased with us and that we didn't pay them? Are they asking for that money as well?
No, ma'am. They were not paid from our records for 19 or 20. So we would owe them for 19 and 20. And then,
and how much would that be?
It's $2,000 a year, so that'd be $4,000 total.
4,000, and
Yes,
then
ma'am.
thereafter we would do a lease and pay them $2,000 per month.
That is my intent. $2,000 per year. That is my intent. Yes,
Per
sir.
year. Okay.
I have a question, Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead, Mr. Chief Wood.
I know we got a solid waste site out there in Golden. Are we paying the lease on that?
Mr. Chairman, can I be recognized?
That's the one over there that belongs to Charles Cloud Properties.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I don't know if there's any monetary consideration or he donated that. I don't know. Maybe
Mr.
Julie
Chairman.
can help us on that.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I can answer that.
Go ahead, Ms. Julie.
We are paying for that.
Okay.
How much
And
on that one?
It was paid for this year, and I knew you were going to ask me that, Ms. Hoover. Give me just a second.
I think, and that's Ms. Salter, can be recognized?
Who's that, Mr. Page?
Yeah. We paying
Yep.
$1,200 on some and $2,000 on some. I don't know. It looks like we ought to have one set price, if possible. You know, I mean, because some people that are paying $2,000, quite naturally, the people paying $12,000, they gonna want more money if and they hear about that type of thing. So it's just a mess. Looks like we ought to have one set price.
Some of the bin sites are bigger than others, Mr. Page.
Okay, yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
And then, everybody really needs to see what's going on with the solid waste, because some of these sites we own, some we lease, some we need, some more we need to get it in control.
Oh yeah.
Because it's costing us so much money with other people coming from other parishes and dumping because they're not controlled sites.
Yeah, it's not controlled sites. And then they're supposed to be so far within each resident, don't it?
They what now?
It's supposed to be, they shouldn't have to travel for so many miles to dump, that type of thing,
Well, back when the police jury adopted this form of pickup and dispose, y'all had promised the people of Natchez Parish 60 sites. And when we got back there in 2012, there was only 29 in existence. And we actually put 3 more compactors in use in 2012. And since then, there's been nothing else done to go back and do the promise that was promised to people of Natchez Parish.
Yeah.
So we still owe them about 28 sites.
Do you remember Do you remember the number of it was like a 5-mile radius or something like that?
6 miles.
Okay. Yeah, I thought it was. Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, I have to answer that. It is 2,000.
On Goldonna?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is that pretty much in line with everything all the way across the board?
It seems to be. I think everything is 2,000. I could do a little digging and report back, but it seems to be 2,000 is where we are.
Okay.
Well, Chris, if you remember, that's what we did last year. Yeah, we went to 2,000, and everybody was going to be paid that same amount.
Okay, well, I thought it was 1,200 for some of them. I didn't know. It may have increased.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Are we ready for a motion?
Mr. President, Chairman, could I ask one other question about these dump bins?
Go ahead.
Who owns that one out? Okay, who owns that property out there on Mammy Trail where the dump sites are?
Yeah, that right there, Mr. Cheatwood, is some areas that has been donated to us by timber companies or landowners, and that was one that I talked to you a little bit earlier about. We need to get control of them and put a fence around them and get a lease on them. There's one on both state highways at each end of the Mammoth Trail.
Right. Okay.
So, yeah,
I just wondered who owned them.
Oh, I don't know. We'll have to look and see. Maybe go to the assessor's office and look on the map and see what you can come up with.
Okay.
But
thank you, sir.
But Mr. Salter.
Yes, sir.
But you remember, it was some guys in some districts didn't want some of those sites manned too, as far as the police jurors. Remember?
Well, I don't remember that. I wasn't in on the negotiations at that time.
Yeah. Well, some of the police jurors did not want some of those sites, like Mammy Trail, and some of them for some reason, and they knew people were dumping illegal out there.
Okay, so they wanted a control site.
They did, they did not want a control site. Some of the representatives from that area, police juror rather, he requested that he didn't want it, that type of thing. I think it's on record saying that, you know.
Okay.
But times have changed, and I've always been to have a man site because people, and I think the night he mentioned that, he talked about somebody bought a whole trailer and dumped out there, you know, illegally, and they was from another parish.
Okay. Well, that's going to be some future discussion in our highway steering and solid waste stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion now to approve this.
I'll offer.
Offered by who?
Mr. Kilcoyne.
Mr. Kilcoyne.
Second.
Second by Mr. Cheatwood. We'll take a vote on it. Mr. Kilcoyne.
Yes.
Mr. Cheatwood.
Yes.
Mr. Page.
Yes.
Mrs. Hoover.
Yes.
Mr. Salters, yes. D is council to authorize the additional $1,100 to the current amount of $7,500 for a total amount of $8,600 per year to the Natchez Parish 4-H office. Any discussion?
Can we afford it, Miss Julie?
Yes, ma'am, we can. I actually believe that we put that in the budget, but if you'll give me just a second, I'll double check.
Okay.
I don't know where this is coming from, Mrs. Hoover, but you know that our sales tax is more than likely going to be way down this year.
Mm-hmm.
Because of COVID-19. And I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know, like I said, I don't know where this money is supposed to be coming or generated or whatever, or contributed to this. But we got to be real careful with our money for the rest of this year until we see what's going to happen.
Mr. Salter?
Yes.
It's Carolyn. I have a question after this vote. I have a question. I don't want you to hang up before I get a chance to ask it.
Okay.
It's not about this item. It's about a previous item.
Okay.
Mr. Salter, Miss Hoover, it is not in the budget, but it'll be $1,100 over the whole year. So we'll come out to almost $100 a month. So I think we can find it, but that's not up to me to make a vote.
Okay, Mrs. Hoover, any more questions from anybody? Comments?
No.
Okay, we'll vote on it. Mr. Kilcoyne?
I haven't heard a motion in the second to even vote on it.
I'm sorry. I thought we had a motion.
You don't have a motion, it's dead.
Well, I'll offer.
You got, oh.
Offered by Mr. Kilcoyne.
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Cheekwood. Mr. Kilcoyne.
Yes.
Mr. Cheekwood.
Yes.
Mr. Page.
Yes.
Mrs. Hoover.
Yes.
Mr. Salter. No. 12 visitors for non-agenda items. Are there any?
I have a question. It's Carolyn.
Yes, ma'am, Miss Roy.
This is from Mr. Richmond. On the item to hire Tony Tillman, do you have like a limit or an hourly wage, or what are the terms of this agreement to hire him? Is there a cap, or can you help me out with some details?
Everything would be approved, of course, by whatever contract we have. It's anticipated that this is going to be in the neighborhood of $2,500 to $3,000, and his billable rate, if I remember correctly, is $200 an hour, which is inexpensive comparatively speaking to many attorneys these days.
So you I know you can't say for sure, but you anticipate it would be no more than $3,000.
That is his estimate based on the ones he's done before and items that are similar in nature.
I got you. All right. Thank you.
Mr. Richmond, just to elaborate a little further, and I appreciate that question, Ms. Roy. If I can, Mr. Salter.
Yes, go ahead, Mr. Page.
Okay. If you would, it's been explained that the fees for the attorney will come out of the grant monies, and members of the community and that I have talked with saying that if not, we would put the money up to pay for the attorney. I myself told them I'd collect $400 or $500 myself to make sure that it is paid. And it had no cost to the parish. We have never asked the parish since I've been here with grant monies like that going in any community to assist that type of thing. So, and we don't want to start now with paying subdivision. Thank you, sir.
Well, I think that's an important point, because just to read this at face value, you don't know how much or how long. Or it could be $1,000 an hour.
Yeah, you're right.
And you're absolutely right, because I've never heard, and if I can be recognized, I've never heard that the attorney fee would come out of the grant money. I've never heard that. Mr. Richmond.
Yes, ma'am. We discussed that the last time we discussed it. I'm sorry you don't remember that, but we did. I believe it's on record.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to pull the record on. I'm gonna have to pull the record on that. All the other council members, have y'all read that it was gonna come out of the grant?
Most
did you all read that?
Much discussion, actually.
It was in the discussion, either last month or the month before. Right.
Yeah.
But we know we've not seen a contract or anything like that. But yes, it was in the discussion.
But not in the contract. Not in the contract, though, correct?
It would not be part of Mr. Tillman's contract. He doesn't care how he gets paid. He just wants to get paid.
No, I didn't say, John, let's don't do that, okay? I asked the question if it was in the contract, and of course, Mr. Kilcorn wouldn't have a contract. I asked about the contract for the Payne subdivision. Was the money in there? Was it written in there? And that's what I asked. So, John, don't do that. That is very ugly of you to do that.
Mr.
Richmond, may I ask one more question? Mr. Richmond? Mr. Richmond?
Yes.
Yes, to be recognized first.
Okay.
All I'm simply saying to anybody, these people have so much opposition and roadblocks
basically that we have allowed them to apply for a grant, just like we did tonight on another project out in the Sandy Point area. We cannot sit and let people apply for grants, and then when we get it, we fight it like ridiculous. We need to be able to help people, or else we need to stay home. Now, the bottom line of this is,
whoa, wait a minute, Mr. Page. You can't come up here and tell people they need to stay home. We got a right to vote the way we want to.
I have the floor, Mr. Salter, and I can say what I want as a representative of my people, just like everybody else that made comments, and you didn't interrupt them. Now, if somebody offended by me saying whatever, but the bottom line of it is we've had so many roadblocks, and it's time to move on.
Well, you moved on. You got 4 votes. I'm the only one to vote against it. You think I'm going to stay at home? I got my reason. I vote the way I want to. I don't need to ask you how I vote or nothing about it. You got your vote.
Thank you, sir.
Can I please have one? Can I just ask one question? Just one question.
Wait a minute. Mrs. Roy is next.
Okay, after Ms. Roy. Okay, if you would allow me.
Okay, again to Mr. Richmond, did you say the contract will be approved by the council before it's executed, or did I mishear that?
I plan on bringing every contract, yes, ma'am, to the parish council, and making sure that they know where the money's going to go. Full transparency.
Thank you. That's it. That's all.
Okay, I have a question. Last month we said that the council voted by majority to allow the committee that was supposed to be set up. And we had 60 days. Here it is going on 30-some days. Where are those board members?
Are you asking me or Mr. Richmond?
Mr. Richmond.
Okay.
I have not invited those people onto the board, primarily because I was waiting to see if we would have an attorney to help us with the transaction. No need to have a board if we wouldn't have a sewer system.
Correct. So now they have 30 days. Is that correct?
I'd like to bring them to the council at the next meeting. Yes.
Okay. I just wanted to find out about.
And I don't know about the time frame. I'm sure you're right, but I don't know about the time there of 60 days. But whatever it is, we'll work to
60 days, and so 30 days has passed.
60 days.
Mr.
Salter,
can I have the floor for just a second? Thank you. Just
Go
to
ahead.
clarify. Okay, thank you, sir. Just to clarify on the 60 days, the 60 days is not constrained in the formation of the board. The 60 days was them finding their own facility. We're allowing. That was the only thing the 60 days did, was they could have a courthouse address and a place to meet if they needed a physical place for their board to meet. But now they have 30 days to find an alternative physical location for their board to meet. That's all that was.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Kilcoyne, for clearing that up. Anybody else have anything else? But now I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Offer.
Offered by Mr.
I second.
Hoover and second by Mr. Marty. Mr. Kilcoyne?
Yes.
Mr. Cheatwood?
Yes.
Mr. Page?
Yes.
Mrs. Hoover?
Yes.
Mr. Salter, yes. Thank y'all.
All right.
Thank y'all. Have a good evening.
Good night.